Meteorites, alien invaders that crash through our atmosphere and fall to Earth without warning. Steve Arnold and Geoff Notkin live to exhume these scientific wonders from deep space.
Numero uno!
Got one!
Yay!
They are
Fantastic.
the Meteorite Men.
Yes! Woohoo!
On this expedition, the guys have a 3-day permit to hunt in one of Europe's most famed crater sites, Morasko, Poland.
Let's do it.
Let's rock and roll.
Geoff!
It's a rare opportunity, and the guys face numerous hurdles.
What do you think's causing all that interference? Rifle cartridge.
We have to be conscious of the danger of it collapsing.
It's almost dark.
Will they have enough time to discover space gold?
This isn't coming out today.
Parts of asteroids that broke up 4 billion years ago. Traveling at 17,000 miles per hour, they careen to Earth and remain buried until now. Meteorite men Steve Arnold and Geoff Notkin are in Poznań, Poland, to investigate the Morasko Crater field, approximately 200 miles from the nation's capital, Warsaw.
Only a few miles from this spot is the miraculous Morasko crater field and strewn field.
Yeah?
One of the most interesting crater fields in the world. There are multiple craters, some are filled with water, and there have been some very significant finds there.
Steve and Geoff's goal is to recover iron meteorites that have been buried for over 5,000 years. In the town of Poznań, the guys find the perfect location to grab a bird's-eye view of their target.
I actually really wanted to see it from this vantage point as well, because the fireball would have gone something like over this way, out that direction. You can imagine what a spectacle it must have been.
Scientists believe that the meteorite hit the landmass that is today contemporary Poland 5,000 years ago. Luckily, back then, the area was uninhabited. This volley of meteorites would have generated widespread devastation, sparking wildfires and clouds of dust that could have blocked out the sun for several days. If a similar event happened today, the result would be devastating. Large meteorite falls to Earth are rare, but they have happened and will happen again. Dr. James Ashley is an expert on such enormous meteorite collision events.
The chances for a future impact are 100%. It's a question of when, where, and what object.
The bigger the meteorite, the greater the chance of devastation. But big is a relative term. In fact, scientists estimate that it would only take a meteorite half the size of the Golden Gate Bridge to end life on Earth.
We're now realizing that the risk changes with the size and energy of the impacting object. In the kilometer size range, well, now you're talking about the potential for a mass extinction event, whether it hits on land or in the ocean.
Steve and Geoff hope that Morasko's once devastated terrain will prove to be fertile ground for their hunt. For months, the Meteorite Men petitioned the Polish authorities for a permit to hunt here, where they're the first foreign citizens to be given access. Steve and Geoff's efforts will complement previous work undertaken by a local hunter, who began mapping the crater in 2006. But the license gives them 3 days, 72 hours, and no more. From the outset, they'll be up against the clock.
You don't look very enthusiastic.
Well, I trust you.
No, you don't.
No, of course I don't. And this is like worth missing stuff, like hunt rock stuff, huh?
Well, I think you will feel that it was worth it.
Seriously, everybody's taking pictures of this. Really?
It gets better. I thought you'd find this a very inspirational moment.
Oh. Wow.
I like goats. I prefer them to sheep.
Now what?
No, that was it. They go back in now.
Now can we look for meteorites?
Yes, now we can go.
Let's go.
That clock's fast. Thought I might show you a bit of the history of the place first. You know, Napoleon used Poznań as a headquarters for 2 whole weeks.
Really?
During his campaign in the 1800s. Let me look in here for a second. Nothing. Niente. So nobody. Let's look over here. Look at this statue here in the middle of the square. Isn't that fantastic? You're in one of the most historic towns in Eastern Europe. It's been inhabited since the Dark Ages, and serious construction and building started here as early as the 10th century. The very first cathedral in all of Poland was built here in the 900s. And by the 14th century, it was a major center for trade in Europe. Let's have a look in this one. Oh, there's no one there at all. I guess that can't be it. It's been a kind of hotbed of the fight for Polish independence and national identity. One of the notable events was in 1956 when the so-called Poznań riots took place here. Thousands of protesters actually waged a battle against the occupying Soviet army, and it was a civil insurrection. A lot of people died, actually, in street fights and riots.
So like the citizens?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was a civil insurrection against Soviet occupation of Poland, and a lot of people died, actually, in street fights and riots. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just the 8 cafes only in this corner. Another really interesting part of the history of this city, I think, concerns the citadel, which is on the north, and it's been a fortified area for centuries. In 1945, it was one of the last Nazi strongholds in World War II. Well, that one's closed, so that's easy. There's nobody in that one.
No, I don't mind, looking for meteorites, but when you look for meteoritises, it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, because you can't even use the detector to find them, because that one's completely empty. There's some people in that one down there. We should probably check that out. Well, I think this is the only place we haven't been to now. We've come full circle, haven't we?
Before they head out to the crater, Steve and Geoff meet an important contact,
That's him there.
the scientist responsible for facilitating their access.
Good morning, sir.
Professor Andres Musinski is a geologist at Poznań's Adam Mickiewicz University.
Here are the craters.
Okay.
And this is the town. So it's quite a strewn field, but look at the abundance of finds. These are all the large ones.
Okay.
Strewn fields are created when meteorites break into pieces as they punch through our atmosphere. As they fall, small pieces lose their energy faster than large pieces, so large pieces travel farther than the small ones. The fragments that land on the ground are spread over an area called a strewn field. And at Morasko, it's almost 2 miles long.
The really large one, how was it found?
He has a detector and
Just made a noise and he dug it.
yes,
Okay. And 80 centimeters is not all that.
not deep.
Yeah.
But there is always a chance that there are more deeply buried.
Theoretically, it's a possibility, but we don't know. No one checked with the better equipment.
Well, we have the better equipment.
So, Nastrovia.
Nastrovia.
The guys and the professor hit the road and make the 10-mile drive to the impact site.
This is fantastic. And we're right here.
All the blue areas are
Crater.
craters. And this is 1
1 kilometer.
kilometer wide. And so most strewn fields are 2 wide. So that's Very easy.
What about this area where nothing's been found? That looks good.
No, it doesn't look good because this is covered a marsh area, not recommended at all.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's why we have you here. I really like this piece right here. Look at all these finds and all these finds and nothing in that small zone there.
Because this is an untouched area, this is the promising area for you. Yeah.
One of our tactics needs to be to take the deep max around the rim of those craters. If we go in with the deep max and we get a target, there's a good chance it's going to be something big and deep.
I love these tactics.
12 noon, and the clock begins ticking on the guy's permit. Steve and Geoff will need to manage their time wisely. Before they bring out the deep-seeing detectors, they'll use smaller handheld units to hunt along the crater's rim in the hope that shrapnel from the initial impact was flung outward and buried in what is today lush woodland.
Is that rain?
I think it's just wind in the tree.
Or just wind, okay.
Why don't we just meet up here in an hour unless one of us finds something
Okay.
big, scream, holler.
All right.
I'm gonna go find a meteorite.
Okay. Well, that's something.
It's just jumping all over the scale.
Geoff has only been hunting for 30 minutes on a valued 3-day pass when his detector gives off a signal.
Huh. Yeah, it was something. That's something good, though. I don't even know what that is. Big piece of iron.
The space rocks buried here are mostly iron, so hunting with metal detectors is essential.
Oh! Much too straight. Nature does not make surfaces like that.
Geoff is using a high-end detector able to locate metal deep underground and identify what type of metal it is.
It's got a digital readout. It's got a scale from 1 to 100, and it gives me an indication of what the target is probably made of. I want numbers at the low end of the scale. Around 10 to 15 is good. That means iron. We're looking for iron meteorites.
There are 3 types of meteorites: iron, stony, and stony iron. The guys do have exclusive access to hunt at the preserve, but that doesn't mean it'll be a slam dunk.
Rifle cartridge.
No, I lost it. I don't know.
Stuck between enemy forces in 2 world wars, Poland was left battle-scarred as combat raged on her soil.
Not only do we get to hunt for meteorites here, but I get to experience some real military history. I'm standing in a World War I trench. In fact, it was a soldier digging one of these trenches in 1914 who found the very first Morasko meteorite by accident.
And in 1939, Hitler unleashed his blitzkrieg as German forces rolled across the Polish border. So the entire site has the potential to be littered with the relics of war.
It's an old bit of wire, I think. With all the old World War I fortifications around here, we can expect to find a lot of barbed wire.
Wow. Some type of wire. Ooh, that sounds nice.
Oh, that's not fair. Bit of an old nail. It's big, it's thick. It's not a meteorite. The good part is this area is definitely not being hunted because there's just targets all over the place.
And the bad part? Lots of targets means lots of digging. Digging takes time, and with only a 3-day permit, time is a luxury they simply do not have.
Yep, there's another one. Look at that. And I mean, it could be anything. No way! All that for a little one? You know, this is frustrating.
It's not sticking to the magnet. It's probably a lead bullet that's very decayed. Yeah, it's very small. It's not a meteorite. I don't care.
The one thing I know for sure, it's not a meteorite.
That sounds like something very close to the surface. Probably man-made. Okay, this is getting annoying. There's a lot of trash out here. This looks like some decomposed man-made stuff. It's not a meteorite. Unfortunately, none of them have been meteorites yet.
Let's see, a nail, a screw.
This is a really bizarre forest. I've been getting all kinds of strange signals. I dug 2 holes. I had a really good target, and I dug down and there was nothing there. It was kind of... What is that?
I don't know.
Well, that looks quite interesting.
It's got that concave side, but I guess there's some of this is shrapnel, right?
Oh, yeah. I suppose that could be a weather piece. What does it read on the...
8, 11, 11.
There's tons of iron in it. How would a man-made thing weather into that shape and be out here on its own?
It's the guy's first potential find of the day, but without chemical analysis, it remains something of an enigma.
Well, we know one thing. Somebody didn't dig this up, so this area hasn't been hunted very well.
Well, let's search around here a bit more.
Geoff, sorry to bother you, but I got another hunk of metal.
Oh, yeah?
Okay. I just found this one, like
These
10
two
feet
are
away.
very similar, aren't they? Now, how do they compare with something that we know is man-made? Very similar.
Hunks of iron rusting away in the same environment.
Rust is the familiar term for iron oxide, and rusting is the process in nature that's leaving Geoff and Steve frustrated. Iron oxide spreads across meteorites like a fungus. When the molecules in water and oxygen react to the elements that form most metal surfaces. The acidic reaction forms a crust that corrodes everything, from bomb shrapnel to space rocks, making it difficult to distinguish between them.
I mean, I suppose they could be. That stuff's definitely not.
Right. I'll put that in the definitely not pocket. And we'll put these in the definitely maybe pocket.
Well, that's something.
Well, I said it before. This area hasn't been hunted very well.
With time evaporating, Geoff and Steve must figure out if their finds are actually space rocks, so they can choose their next move.
Let's collect a few more pieces, see if we can find a bigger one.
Okay. And, well, we got about an hour or so?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's do that, and we'll see what we can find. And...
Okay.
Whoa. Oh, you should do that further away from me. This is my area.
Oh, right, because I saw your name on the sign over there. I just forgot.
See what it is. Get out of there. Get on the magnet. Let's go. Oh, right here. A ring. Worth about that much. 0. Oh. Well, I have. You do wrong. You do wrong. Some bullet casing.
Did you find any more of those mystery irons?
That's probably not. So, 3 promising ones.
That really could be a meteorite. I don't know about these things.
With only 2 days until their permit expires, the guys need to determine if these are, in fact, meteorites.
Let's go back to the hotel, give the professor a call, see if perhaps we can meet up with him tomorrow for a few minutes, have a look at these.
Yeah.
Because if these are real, then we want to blanket that area.
Okay. Let's go. We found some metal that we really don't think are meteorites. Then we found 3 pieces that are maybe shaped a little better, but about the same color.
Yeah.
This one.
Either verdict on these meteorites is a good one for us. If they are meteorites, I know where I'm wanting to spend as much time as possible to keep on hunting and finding more. If they're not, I don't want to waste my time there anymore. There's other places we need to get to.
This looks very promising as a meteorite,
That
but
one.
this should be tested.
Okay.
Professor Musinski will take the mystery rocks to his lab for chemical and structural analysis. The guys are going to have to wait for an answer.
Good luck.
Thank you.
uh, for you.
While the professor goes to figure it out, Steve and Geoff reboot their strategy. The smaller handheld detectors are only finding man-made objects close to the surface. The guys need to probe deeper.
So we might be able to go 4 meters deep instead of 3.8 meters deep.
Steve and Geoff will deploy new detectors that reach deeper than any model used at Morasko before. The large coil metal detector, the Deep Max, is able to penetrate 10 feet into the Earth. They'll use it to discover targets and then pinpoint those targets with smaller handheld units.
Wow. That's reading over 2 meters.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic. That's brilliant.
Wait. I'm sorry, just shut up. Did you say I was brilliant?
No, I said that's brilliant.
That's brilliant.
With yesterday's mystery rocks being analyzed at the local university, Steve and Geoff pick a new area along the southwest part of one of the craters. Iron meteorites are thought to originate from the cores of large asteroids that have shattered in deep space. Scientists believe that they're similar in composition to Earth's outer core, and that they're probably the only meteorites with enough mass to make craters on impact. In fact, Morasko is one of fewer than 200 officially recognized meteorite craters on Earth. Well, actually, it's 7 of them. A potent reminder of the destructive force of a meteorite's collision with Earth. It's only luck that this huge space rock fell in an uninhabited area. But
If such an event were to take place today over a major city, it would flatten it and thousands or possibly hundreds of thousands of people would perish.
so what can be done about it? How do we protect ourselves? The first step is to try and make sure we know what's hurtling towards Earth right now.
To determine exactly how bad the threat is, it involves doing sky surveys to identify as many of these objects as we can prior to the impact, and also doing terrestrial surveys of places that we know to have been impact sites to understand more about what happens during the process of an impact.
And that is exactly what Geoff and Steve are doing. With Professor Musinski, they hope to find space rocks that can help further the study of Morasko and meteorite impacts in general. But metal trash is still throwing up false positives and beginning to test Geoff's patience.
Well, that's great. I think that's the best bit of wire we found on the whole expedition.
And they found lots of meteorites over on this side, huh?
So the story goes, so it was written.
All right, we can kind of work our way back over that way.
There's a lot of trash out here, which is good and bad. It means I'm digging every few meters. Imagine that. Some wire! That's the bad part. No meteorites. The good part is this area is definitely not being hunted. Well, let's zigzag in and out of this area and kind of go back onto the rim, and
Okay.
we're a little bit southwest of the crater.
Let's see what we can do. So Geoff's new system that we're supposedly following here is the big coil goes around, finds something, the little coil comes out, pinpoints where the signal is. Whoa, a railroad spike. Where'd the railroad come through at? So far, we haven't found anything. We've hit several different points.
No matter what the guys find, they bag it. After all, if they return in the future, They don't want to waste time digging up previously discarded trash.
Woohoo! Look at this fantastic wire.
Catch up when you can.
Geoff!
Oh, bird's nest.
I have a good, strong target I just came upon. I've got something that sounds pretty deep.
Look at that.
Geoff! Bring your detector. You want to see this?
There's a little tiny bit of blue eggshell left in there.
Geoff!
It's for our Sci-Spy project.
Hello, Geoff. Hey,
What's going on?
I'm getting a signal here.
And let's see what you got. And then
Okay.
I might want to test it with this.
Something's in here somewhere, because the rest of this is real quiet.
It sure sounds like a target to me. What else could that be?
Right there.
Just loosening up the soil because it's so hard.
Do I dare let myself get excited?
Don't think you're just going to stand there and watch me dig.
You may have a 1 or 2 meter hole to go into. I'll help you.
Thanks a bundle.
The new target is buried deeper than any man-made object is likely to be buried. So as the Meteorite Men continue to excavate, it becomes more probable that their target is not of this world.
Hey, I wonder if they'll deliver pizza.
Wow. What this very clearly shows is that whatever is buried down here was beyond the reach of any detector that's ever been used in this strewn field before. So whatever it is, it's deep. And this ground is hard. And if we get down there and it's not a meteorite, I am done. Done. I'm gonna take up banking.
Banking.
Yeah, banking. That's the life for me.
As the guys begin the back-breaking work of freeing their target from its earthy tomb, Professor Musinski is occupied analyzing yesterday's mystery rocks. In his lab, the rocks are finely ground to reveal the inner structure that hasn't been tainted by rust, dirt, or erosion.
The goal is to have a surface on which we can then etch by needle.
This process of acid etching exposes the distinctive geometric lines known as the Widmanstätten pattern. These markings are not seen in any metal originating on Earth. If the pattern is spotted under the microscope, then the Meteorite Men's finds would almost certainly be extraterrestrial.
Oh, we are expanding our footprint.
I'm not sure this is the best use of our time. And we can really, I mean, we need to use the pick, and I don't want to use the pick with both of us in the hole. It's too dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
So you want to just do shifts?
Sure.
Dig for a bit, one of us will scout, come back,
Sure.
switch over. You can just call when you get tired, which will probably be as soon as I get to that tree.
That's the thing. Well, hand me the pick,
Yeah.
and I'll start picking.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Go find something.
Oh, really? A bit of an old bolt.
Our crater is right there, so this is right in the splash path of where that thing came in. And there's all these old dig holes around here, so others have been found here, and maybe they missed too.
The anticipation's the best part of meteorite hunting. Oh, it's worth it. It's worth it. I keep telling myself. Trying to see which direction we need to put the bottom of this hole. It's no fun digging too far in the wrong direction. Maybe we need to come this way. Little off here. Peak. Starts to go off again. Getting closer.
3 hours into the dig, Geoff circles back to Steve for a progress report.
Oh, hello.
Oh, did you dig that all by yourself? Aren't you a clever lad?
Who else is out here, dude? Gotta get it wider.
Yeah.
Why don't you try that thing in here? Of course, if it's really big, it's not a matter of being able to pinpoint it.
Yeah, looks like it's right in the middle of the hole. Well, do you want to go out and do some hunting?
Oh,
I
would
can
you
dig
like
for
to
a
do
while.
some digging?
No, not really, but I'm willing to.
Yeah. Well, holler if you need help lifting that out of the hole.
Okay, will do, thanks.
Gotta watch it when I bring my fist back up to my eye, though.
Steve strikes out, so he decides to go back to help Geoff with the dig. With only an hour of daylight left, Steve and Geoff are going to have to make a decision. As the Clash would say, should I stay or should I go?
One of the toughest things in the world is to leave a hole overnight. This is when the adrenaline starts to kick in.
I would never, ever in my whole life say, let's leave the meteorite and come back tomorrow. There comes a point where you just go, okay, it actually really cannot be a meteor wrong at this stage. But there is this specter looming over our shoulders, and that is, how do we get it out of the bottom of the hole?
Let's be logical about it. Even if we go another 3 inches or 3 feet or 3 meters, this isn't coming out today.
Their permit does not permit hunting in the preserve after dark.
I hate leaving a target in the ground overnight. You never know what can happen, but I think we're gonna have to. We gotta pack it in for the night.
The guys are stuck between a rock and a hard place, literally.
Fortunately, it's inside the preserve, so the odds of someone sneaking in and grabbing our rock before we get out there in the morning, pretty slim.
See you in the morning.
But will leaving the target in the ground backfire and rob the guys of space treasure? Before they get back to their big dig, Professor Musinski returns with a verdict on the earlier mystery rocks.
No of them is a meteorite.
Yeah, okay. Thank you again for doing that work so rapidly. At least now we know.
Well, we have the one mystery solved. We've got the other mystery in the bottom of a hole. We gotta go solve it.
Thanks again, Professor. Thanks.
Steve and Geoff make their way back to the target they hope is alien.
I'm not leaving until this target's out of the ground. Do you hear me loud and clear?
Well, I didn't make you go yesterday. Just where we left it.
Oh, it's all nice and muddy.
Yes, it is. I'm already tired just looking at it.
That doesn't sound good. We're gonna have to widen this, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Go on then.
Go on, then. Oh, yeah, back to our friendly rocky ground.
I hope it's not an underground World War I bunker.
Ooh. How many other meteorites are we not getting to because we have to dig?
I know.
That's
The irony of it. The nickel irony. Oh, the nickel irony. I'll see how long my sense of humor lasts. I give it about half an hour. What do you think?
When's it starting?
After 3 hours shoveling dirt, the guys arrive at a personal milestone.
This is easily the deepest hole we've ever dug by hand. Don't you think?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, go down a little deeper. Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's going rather slowly, isn't it?
It is.
It'll be worth it if it's a meteorite. If it's a World War I artillery shell that's buried down there, we're going to be disappointed and possibly blown up as well.
What
What is that?
You hear what I hear?
I heard something. It sounded solid.
If that sound really is metal on metal, the guys may have zeroed in on a space rock, because at this depth, it's very unlikely to be something man-made.
Let me get a magneto.
I got one right here.
If the magnet sticks, the guys have almost certainly found something extraterrestrial.
Is that magnet sticking?
Yes. Finally.
We have just uncovered something that attracts a magnet. There is a dense object at the bottom. It's rusty. It's evidently iron because the magnet is sticking. Okay.
Got a tape measure.
Oh, super. You hold the shovel. Let me hold this straight. I got this.
156 centimeters.
If this is, in fact, a meteorite, it will be a record-setting discovery here at Morasko. It will be the most deeply buried meteorite ever recovered in the strewn field, and in fact, almost twice as deep as the next contender. So now we found it, how are we gonna get it out?
I radioed for help. We got reinforcements coming in.
Hey! Guys!
The reinforcements are locals pressed into service by Professor Musinski.
There's a meteorite right under Geoff's right big toe.
Well, there's an iron object down here. It could be a meteorite.
And we just need to get this probably as wide as this is, all the way down, and maybe even some steps kind of going in as you get there.
This hole's gonna have to be at least twice as big as it is now, at least. Maybe more. All right, I'm gonna get out of your way.
A może najpierw to poszerzymy jednak. Tak, zahacz. We will widen it a bit at first.
Żebyś mógł wiatr.
This reminds me of roadworks in the UK. You've got one guy digging and 7 guys standing around watching.
Okay.
Is it okay with you if we go off and do a little more scouting and
For sure.
leave you in command of this outfit?
Sure.
We won't be long. Let's rock and roll.
The guys are running out of time. If they don't search for more targets, they might leave with nothing.
Jeszcze w pizdę nie dostał. Kurwa, chłopie. Ty no, poczekaj, kultury. Dymaj 6 patelni, wieczorem będzie dobrze.
If that's a meteorite and it's that deep, I don't think it's shrapnel. We're extremely close to the most westerly crater. It's just there on my left. We are actually on the rim. The rim goes around here, maybe just the far side of the rim. Up. What do you think's causing all that interference?
I'm not sure.
If that's a meteorite and it's that deep, I don't think it's shrapnel. I think it's going to be an
good point.
individual.
Good point. Let me grab the handheld one again and go back over this. Well, that's a good sign. I'll use the big shovel for a minute if you want to rest.
If that's a meteorite, that could be a piece of shrapnel that was blasted out of the crater. Boom! Got blasted way up in the air and then crashed into the ground. Lay there for 5,000 years, waiting for Steve Arnold to walk over it. No?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Have you got a metal plate in your head?
Well, there's metal in my hat.
That's not enough.
Now do it.
It still works.
Here, you dig and I'll play with your head.
The new target turns out to be a meteor wrong. More wartime scrap.
That's a hell of a good detector to find that. It's probably a bullet.
Having struck out, the guys head to their A-list target on the rim of the crater. They are more than 6 feet down into the tough Morasko clay and have only 15 hours until their hunting permit expires.
Coming up, buddy. Clear shot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, it's stuck. So it's stuck over here, over here, over here, and over here. It's not smooth. If it was man-made, we'd expect it to be smooth. That is a very typical surface for a buried iron meteorite. I will officially say it is a meteorite.
But they still have to get it out of the ground, and their permit won't extend beyond noon tomorrow.
I think the only way that a meteorite could be this deep here would be if it was a substantial individual that hit the Earth really hard and buried itself, actually punched right through the clay layer. We did not expect to find anything this deeply buried. This is almost exactly twice the depth of the previous deepest meteorite find here at Morasko.
Good job by our Polish team. Fantastic.
Yeah, let's get a crowbar in here, please. It's buried hard in the clay.
Almost 6 feet down and encased in thick clay, the space rock is anchored to the soil.
Can you sleep better tonight, at least knowing it is a meteorite?
No, I can't sleep until it comes out of the ground.
Well, Geoff, I know it's the hardest thing in the world to do is to leave a rock in the hole.
I wouldn't know, I've never done it.
The guys have staked a large part of their hunt time on this being a meteorite. But despite hours of digging, their target remains landlocked. And with darkness upon them, they know they won't be permitted to stay in the preserve.
You know, Geoff, it is kind of hard to work with a pickaxe in the middle of the dark.
I would have to agree with you in this one instance. All right, then. That hurts, man. Can you give me a hand up, please? That's, Oh, thanks. Wow. You know what? That is a heck of a dig. We've gone so far as to drive trucks out to the middle of the field and turn the headlights on to get a meteorite out of the ground. But we had to leave it here overnight, which was very taxing on the small remaining bit of my patience.
Just outside Poznań, Poland, in the Morasko Crater Preserve, the guys head back to their target after a night of teeming rain. Geoff and Steve arrive at the site with less than 3 hours remaining on their permit and a problem.
Oh, wow! It's full of water.
Last night, an unprecedented rainstorm hit western Poland and dumped inches of rain on Morasko, most of it into Geoff and Steve's dig hole.
Okay, bucket on a string.
Does it seem like we're making any progress?
Oh, rain. Let's empty the hole out and then it starts raining. That's good. Oh, I guess it's a little deeper than I thought it was. We're out of water and it's mud right now.
This is pretty slow going.
I think we should probably call in international rescue again.
I think you're right.
It's gonna take them.
Finally, after digging through wet clay, the moment Steve and Geoff have been waiting for arrives.
Woo! It's coming out! I'm upping my estimate. Woo! Okay, it's not shrapnel. It's an individual.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it, it's fantastic. That's a little bigger than I was expecting. Do you think you can lift that?
I'm not sure. Normally I could, but it is a bit of a tight squeeze. Fortunately, there's a handle or two on it.
Okay, here she comes.
Okay.
It's officially a monster.
Look at this. Look at the knobs on this thing.
That was a battle and a half to get that one out.
Way to go!
Congratulations.
Good job, guys!
Yeah, big
Yeah.
cheers to our Polish team. You guys are the business.
This thing's gorgeous. I mean, this is what we go through all this for, is to pull these puppies out.
It's a beautiful, solid piece, and it's got a fantastic sculptural character.
And buried at just under 6 feet, the depth confirms that Morasko may yield more secrets. Geoff and Steve's recovery at this level has rewritten the size and dimensions of the impact site.
We have shown that it's possible for meteorites to be found at a greater depth.
Yes,
It's worth doing another search here with better equipment.
it's a new direction
Yes.
for Morasko.
Sir,
So,
thank you for
very
everything.
much.
Professor.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
It was the hardest of battles, but so worth it.
Yeah, it just fits.
It's a perfect fit, isn't it?
When this is cleaned off and displayed, it's going to be a killer.
Okay, I'll go get a hose.
I'll get the scale set up. That yellow color is typical of other specimens that we've seen when they come out of the ground.
Well, you want to weigh it?
Yeah.
Ooh, I was very close.
That's 34.2. It's bouncing around a little bit. 34.2.
That's where it settled. That was pretty good. My estimate was 37.
Just under 75 pounds.
Cut and etched, an iron meteorite similar to this one could fetch up to $50,000 on the collector's market. Geoff and Steve have paved the way for additional study of the Morasko Crater site. With a new understanding of the depth at which these meteorites are buried, scientists can begin to explore the location for even more deeply buried samples. In doing so, new craters may be unearthed, and a larger mass of the original meteorite could yet be discovered.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a perfect fit.
We're done.